Hi, howdy, welcome back if you've been to my channel before. Editing Bina here. Originally, this wasn't going to be a tutorial, but it kind of turned into one, so that's the direction of the video now. I am going to put this pattern up on my Etsy shop as well, if you'd like a written version instead of listening to me yap. I'm not a professional pattern writer, but I did try to do my best to streamline it for you. 110% not required, as I will be going through the whole pattern here in this video, but that is an option for you guys that like reading a pattern's easier for you. So now that spooky season is finally upon us, she says, as it's only a week into September, I really wanted to make something quick and easy and spooky for myself before I start like the mad rush of making holiday presents for my family members. And so the inspiration for today's video, obviously it's going to be in the title, Ouija boards. Where do I start? You know, love them, hate them. They're very popular in the demographic of people that I am in. And I have always fallen into the you don't fuck with Ouija boards category. And I would still like to consider myself in that category. But yeah, so it actually doesn't bother me as much as it used to. So I want to make a Ouija board purse. Or a Ouija board inspired purse. I don't want like the typical design that you see where it's like a messenger bag or like a square or rectangle shaped where like the front of the bag is the board. I don't want that. I want something different. So I'll put in like the spoiler alert, I already made the bag. It's done. I'm filming this afterwards because I'm an idiot and forgot to film this beforehand. I got no excuses. But I'm gonna insert here like my designing sketches. It's been a long day.
Okay, so first I was deciding that maybe I wanted to do like a planchette purse, and I wasn't sure which way I wanted to do it, if I wanted to do like point down or if I did point up, if I actually used the eye or the hole as like a handle and then also put a strap on it. Um, but I've also kind of been really obsessed with granny squares lately. So then I was thinking that would be kind of cool. And then in my sketch, I forgot how granny squares worked, so I had to start over. And then I spent way too long trying in like each individual stitch, how it would look to if that's how I were to make it. And then I kind of decided on the granny square idea, as we'll see here in a second. And then I was kind of thinking about like, okay, what colors would I want to do? Do I want to do like where it's the square, or if I do where you start your granny square as a circle and then turn it into a square? Like I said, I spent a really long time drawing each like stitch, and I did not need to do that. And then, so once I kind of decided that I wanted to do the circle one so that the square or the fabric itself was a little bit more like structurally sound, I was like, hey, if I do a circle center, then I could do an oval and do a square around that and do like this cool like eyeball type thing. And so I thought that would look really cool. And then I forgot how to draw eyeballs, so it's just a sketch, right? And then I was thinking that that would be really fun. I might actually still make a bag like this because I do think the design has like I think it's gonna look good. I just need some time to work out how I'm gonna execute it. But I felt like, okay, well that's not as Ouija inspired as I wanted. Um but then I was thinking about it. I was like, okay, well what if I do the circle start and then do a sun and a moon and the star like on the top of the Ouija board? and that I spent a lot of time like trying to draw like their faces on there. And you'll see at the end of the video, I didn't end up putting faces on the squares, but I still think that was a good idea. I might eventually do it.
Alright, on our way to Bina's Yarn Emporium, where wonder and adventure await. You never know what you're gonna find, because that's usually where my work and projects go to die. We're turning the fan off. Here's the rest of my yarn stash. ADHD pro tip: if you use a clear container, you can kind of look at it and see what you got going on before you dig it down. Okay, so this is what I settled with. I'm gonna take upstairs. This really sparkly black stuff, like it's like you can see the reflectiveness in the camera, but like in real life it's so much more like sparkly, twinkly. It's like so cool looking. So we're gonna do something with this because I really like this. And then, so the design that I kind of did, the granny squares with the eyeballs, I want to use that purple and black, and they're about the same sized yarn, so that shouldn't be an issue. This tan is also, it's a little bit thinner, but it's close enough we can make it work. And I think that design, doing like that smug sun, I really want to make a bag with it. So maybe we might make 2 bags, and we'll see. I'm going to practice around with both of these. We'll see what happens. Alright, so to get started, what I'm working with is I actually, for my yarn picking video, that black that I picked out wasn't actually black. The sun came out and I realized it was navy. So we grabbed this out of my stash. It's just the Walmart brand, black yarn. And then in my testing square, I used this Red Heart Super Saver in warm brown. But for my actual bag, I want to use this unnamed tan color because I like the color of this better. I am using a size G. Can you see that? Crochet hook. I'm pretty sure this is a vintage crochet hook, based off of the logo, the boy logo, and from the fact that like all of my crochet hooks came from my grandmother, and I don't think that there's any new ones in there because I have never bought myself crochet hooks. So let's get started. We're going to do the sun square first, and we are going to start with a magic ring. So let me, how do we do this? A little awkward working around my camera, but get in here, twist and pull that up. And then once you get it kind of twisted, you can pinch it here, chain 1, and now we're going to work into this circle, and then we're going to work over the tail so that we don't have to weave that in at the end. And I am actually going to make a second chain because we are going to be doing this in double crochets. And we're going to put 10 double crochets in the circle. Excuse me. It is a little goofy getting your first one in here, but once you have your first one, you actually have something that you can grip a hold of. That makes it a little bit easier to do this. I don't know if you can hear my cat Momo playing, but she is frustrated that she thinks I'm ignoring her. Sometimes if you slide these together, you make your circle a little tighter and kind of put your fingers in there, and then that helps you keep it kind of straight so that you can keep making your stitches while holding on to this awkward thing until you have something better to get a hold of. 6. Oops. Okay, I think that's 10. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10. So then we are going to tighten our circle and see how your hole in the middle just disappears. Okay, so once you tighten the circle in the middle, you're going to join together into the first stitch with a slip stitch. And then chain 2. And we're going to put 2 double crochet in the same stitch. And then do that all the way around. And then we don't work this guy here because that's our joining slip stitch. We're going to do the same thing here, slip stitch to join. So to keep growing the circle, we're going to increase 10 stitches every round because that's how many we started with the initial round. So now on this one, we're going to chain 2 and 1 double crochet, and then in the next stitch 2 double crochets. And try not to split your yarn like I am. 2. And then repeat that all the way around. So on your third round, you're going to end with the increase in that last stitch. And then this little guy right here, we're not going to work because that's that joining slip stitch. And then join again with a slip stitch. And what we're going to do on this round, now we need 2 double crochets and then 2 double crochets in 1 stitch for the increase. But what happens when you're making a circle, because this is our increase in the last round, if you put your increase on top of this increase and then like keep doing that every round, you'll end up with like a point instead of it being like a nice rounded circle. So we're actually going to start this round. You'll do your chain 2, and then you're going to do 2 double crochets right in the first one right away. And then do your 2 double crochets. And then repeat that all the way around. And then when you finish, remember, don't work that. And then slip stitch into the top here. Chain 2. And then for this row, we're going to do 3 double crochet. And then do our 2 double crochet in 1. And then repeat that all the way around. Same thing as before. Always skip your slip stitch. Slip stitch to join. And then for this round, we're gonna do chain 2, 1 double crochet, and then 2 double crochet in the same stitch. Oops, forgot to pick my yarn up. Oops. 2. And then we're going to do 4 double crochets and then do the increase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and do 2 in the same, and then repeat that 8 more times around. Okay, after finishing the 8th repeat, we're going to finish off the last 3 stitches with just 3 double crochet. Slip stitch to join. And then this next round's going to be super easy. Chain 2. And then we're going to do 5 double crochets, then our increase, and repeat that all the way around. My yarn got caught. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then our increase. That's 2 double crochets in the same stitch, and then repeat that all the way around. Okay, now once finishing this row, our next row is where we're going to do our color change. So what we're actually going to do, oh, I just dropped my tail of my black, is we're going to, our joining slip stitch, we're actually going to use the new color. And we're not going to cut this one off yet though, because we want this for the row after. I swear. Okay, so come in here. Pull this through, and then pull this through here. You're gonna pull that down tight, and then tug on your first color. There, not too tight though. Shoot, I did that a little too tight. Okay. I'm actually gonna pull this like this, and chain 1, and then I'm gonna push it kind of behind, and that's gonna help bring it up for the next row. And it's probably gonna get a little tangly down the line, but it should be manageable. It's just for one row. So did our chain 1, we're gonna pull this tight, pull this tight, wrong color. Pick up this, and then we're going to work over the tail so that we don't have to weave it in. And we are going to do, I do need to pull that a little bit tighter. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to start with 3 half double crochets. The first one going in that same stitch. That's 1. black is so much scratchier than the tan. 2 and 3. And then we're going to do an increase, so 2 half double crochets in the same stitch. One and 2. Can't see what I'm doing with this black, jeez. Okay. Then our little pattern that we're going to repeat is going to be 6 half double crochets. One, oops, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then 2 half double crochets in 1. Split my yarn. No, okay, this is still split. We're doing the 2 and 1. And then repeating that 8 more times around. Now that I have the right number of stitches in the row below and the right number of stitches in the current, not row, round, and now that I have the right number of stitches in the current round, once you Jesus, I don't even want to admit to you guys how many times I just had to frog and redo the last round. I don't know what is going on with my brain and counting today, but we're here. After repeating that thing 8 times, you're going to finish off the last 3 stitches half double crochets. Still trying to get used to working around my camera here, but it is what it is. Alright, and then we are going to join with a slip stitch. And I am so sorry. This next round is going to be a doozy. I don't have it written in a way that there is like a repeating pattern, so I'm going to work through the whole round with you. Essentially, what we're doing is we're making the little flares for the sun. I can show you my example here. We're making these guys, but because of the amount of stitches and how many there are, there's not always exactly 4 in between or 5 in between. And then because we're still working in the round, we need to get our 10 increases in as well. And so sometimes it ends up where it's black, sometimes it ends up where it's a black and a brown. We're just gonna work through the whole row together, and I hope that it makes sense. So that was really loud thunder. I wonder if that picked up. The cats are all sorts of freaked out now. I was wondering if I should have done that in the black. Oh well. Okay, we're this far. I'm not redoing that row again. So we are gonna start.
So for round 9, this is what we're going to be doing. I am so sorry. I apologize in advance that SDC does not stand for short double crochet, standing double crochet. I made it up to mean the two-toned double crochet that we're going to do. I refer to it as a special double crochet in this video. That is what I mean by that. So pause the video here to write this down. Otherwise, in the next section of the video, I will just go through this whole round stitch by stitch because I realize how complicated this looks, especially if you are more of a beginner. I would say that this is an intermediate pattern, but I realize up until this point of the video, it seemed very beginner friendly. So just so we're on the same page, I'll go through this whole round with you, but this is the whole round in full if you want to like take a screenshot or write it down, if that's easier for you to follow along than how I explain it in this video.
With 4 double crochets, we're going to chain 2 to get up to height. Did I bump my lamp? I hope you guys can see this okay. So that's 1 chain, 2 chain. Remember how I told you not to cut this off because we need it in this round? And bring this back up to here, and we're going to work over it to carry it around to where we need. So we're going to do 4 double crochets and work around the original color. So we got 1, 2, 'Cause that one looked goofy. What did I do? Yarn over. Oh my god. Okay, so that's 3. And 4. Alright, so you don't want to pull this like super incredibly tight through here. You kind of just want it loose. But you don't want it too loose, otherwise it does kind of sag out the back. But if it shows like this is okay. This is our back side. We're not gonna worry about it. If it shows through a little bit in the front, you can kind of adjust your legs of your double crochets to kind of cover it more. Alright, so we got our 4 double crochets. And then I don't know if there is a name for this stitch that I am about to do, but I'm just gonna call it a special double crochet. So for our next one, we're gonna yarn over with this color, insert, bring this color through. Okay. Jesus. And then bring this color through. And then we're gonna finish it with the black. Because I want the top of the stitch black and I want the top of the next stitch black. So that's why we're only doing the inside of it with the brown. So that's our first special double crochet. And then just keep working over it to get to, get this up here, to get to the next one. So now we have 2 double crochet. And you can tug on that brown if that starts getting a little too loosey-goosey on you until you get this guy done. So 1, and oh my god, was I doing that off camera? 2. And then we're gonna do 2 double crochet in 1. Let me just grab a pen here real quick. I'm gonna mark down on my pattern where I am to keep track. Alright. Now I'm gonna do 1 double crochet. And then another special double crochet. So again, with the brown, we want the top of the stitch black, so that's why we did the previous stitch all black. And pick up the brown, just kidding. We're gonna yarn over the brown. We're gonna pick up the brown and pull through. But then we're gonna finish the stitch with black because we want the top of the next stitch to be black. And then pull that tight. Not too tight, but you know, kind of tighten it back down to be the same size as the other ones. And then keep working over it. So after doing him, we're gonna do 4 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Oh my god, it is really storming out. I am going to make sure that I remember to close the windows before. It is downpouring out. This is like perfect crocheting weather. Okay. Oh, where am I? 4 double crochets. Okay. And then we're gonna do another special double crochet. So that's with the brown. Yarn over. Holy crap, that was bright lightning. Pull it through. Back to doing this guy. We are, okay, right there in the pattern. So pull the brown through and then finish the stitch with the black. Now after this guy, we are going to do 2 double crochets in the same stitch for our increase. He's getting a little loosey-goosey on me there. So that's 1. And 2. And then 3 double crochets. 1. 2. And 3. Are you okay, Gizzy? Are you all freaked out? Okay. I think that's looking kind of cool. So, and now our special one. Yarn over. And finish the stitch in black. And then 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And then 2 double crochets in 1. I'm going in the right spot. This is a little hard to see. Okay. Yeah, I was. So 2 double crochets in 1. We got 1, and 2, and then a special. I'm gonna feel really bad if there's a name for this and I'm just calling it the wrong thing this whole time. Pull that through and finish it with black. Alright, and that leaves us to do 4 double crochets. Oh. God, I hope the power doesn't go out. 1, 2, oh, pull that a little too tight. 2, what did I say, 4? Yeah, 2, 3, and 4. Another special. And finish it with black. Alright, so after this one, it's gonna thunder really loud again. Oh, maybe not. Just saw the flash of lightning, but okay. So after this one, oh, there it is. Got 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet in the same, and 2 double crochet. 1, 2. So you can see what I mean here. If you don't keep that tight, how it kind of like puckers out. If you just give it a little tug, it straightens itself out. Okay, let me mark. Alright, another special. Yarn over, yarn through, finish it with black. Then after this one, we're going to do 4 double crochets. Oh. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's what I said, right? Yep. And now we're going to do stretch here. Special one. Finish with black. And double crochet black in the same stitch. And let me tuck him down. There we go. 3 double crochets. Oops, I got caught on something. Is that 3, And this guy again. And then 3 double crochets. And then 2 double crochets in the same stitch. 1 and 2. Yeah, okay, one of those guys. After we do him, we do 5 double crochets. I got 1. 2. And 5. Then special guy. Oops, my yarn over first. All right. Two double crochets in one in the same stitch. So I got 1, tighten him up, and then 2 in the same stitch. And then we're going to do 3 double crochets. Almost there. Two. And 3. And do our special one. Yarn over, obviously. And then so now we're going to do 3 double crochets. One, 3. And then the next one, we are going to do a double crochet, and then our special double crochet in the same space. So yarn over. Alright, and then after that, we are going to do 5 double crochets. Do a special one. And then 1 double crochet. And then our increase, so 2 double crochets in 1. And down. And then we have 2 more double crochets. A special. Yeah, okay. I'm looking at the right place in my notes. And then after doing the special, we're going to do 4 double crochets. This guy up. That's 1. 2. 3. And 4. And then our last stitch, we're going to do a double crochet, and a special. And I promise the rounds after this are going to be so much easier. And then do a slip stitch to join. Throw the tail in the back. Oops. And now you are okay to cut your tail. And then I am just going to work over it so that we don't have to weave it in. And we can start round 10. So, this is actually going to be the row where we're going to be putting the corners in for the square. Typically when you do this, you start with a corner so that when you finish it, you can slip stitch to the corner. But I want the corner to be directly above a sun flare, so we're actually going to have the corner be the last, and then we'll have to cut and rejoin our yard. But I'll explain it when we get there. So for this round, sorry, we're working in the round. Do our chain 2, oops. Our chain 2. And then we want to do 3 double crochets. That's 1. 2. And 3. And then we're going to do 15 half double crochets. So oh my god, I'm stuck. 2. Eleven, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And I'm just going to count those to be sure, because I've been goofing stuff all up on this project. 15. And we're going to do 3 double crochets. 1. Just kidding, that was a half double. 1, 2, and 3. Now in the next stitch, this is where we're going to make our corner. So it's going to be 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets, all in the same stitch. So I didn't say this when you work in the row before, but try not to make your black loops on top too tight, otherwise it's a pain to work into. If you really have to, you could work it like in that space if you're finding it too tight, just so you don't have to go and redo that whole complicated row again. But we should be okay. I think mine are going to be loose enough to get them all done. So we've got, that's 1 and 2, chain 2, and then 2 more. One, and 2. So see how he's making a little point? It's still going to be like a little rounded looking here, just because this was a big circle that we started with. But once you start doing the corner rounds, it'll kind of straighten itself out. So then after doing our corner, we're going to do 3 more double crochets. 1, And now we're going to do 16 half double crochets. The first time we did 15, now we're doing 16. It's just because of how many stitches there are. Oops. Oh, crap. Alright, gotta poke that in the back. Didn't mean to do that. See, this one I made a little tight. Oh, there it goes. Alright, how many am I on now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Halfway. 9. 10. 15, and 16. And then again, we're going to do 3 double crochet. Three, and then we're going to work another corner. So 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. And 2. And then that was all in the same stitch. Got our second corner made. And do 3 double crochets. And 3. So now when we do our half double crochets, it's going to be 15 of them. So we did the first set, we did 15, then we did 16. Now we're gonna do 15, and then your 3 double crochets in your corner, and then you're gonna do 3 double crochets, and you're gonna do 16. Okay, so after making that last corner stitch, just do a slip stitch to join. And we're actually going to fasten off and reattach our black into the corner space. That's why I said usually you make the corner the first, but I wanted it to line up with the flare. So unfortunately we just do it this time, but then the rest of the times we'll be able to not have to cut and rejoin. We've got that, and then when we work around, we'll just work over it. So we're going to join in the corner space. I'm going to put our tail over the top because we'll work over that tail too, because I hate weaving in ends. And we are going to chain 1, chain 2, and then in every corner space you're going to put a corner in. So we're going to do 2 double crochets. Get a little lay on me here. 2 double crochets, chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets. I accidentally pulled my tail through there. I didn't mean to. My bad. And then, so here you have to be careful because when you go to work in your stitches, let me get it, try and get it focused on the camera here. You can see right here, our corner is actually kind of covering up that first stitch. So you gotta tug it over a little bit, and now we can see it again. So you're going to work into there, and you are going to do 25 double crochets to get to the next corner. So let's hurry up and do those. Make sure you don't work in your slip stitch, but you see how it's pulled tight, but you pull it tighter. So our next stitch is actually, yeah, our next stitch is actually right here. Oops, almost there. Alright, so let me just count, make sure that that's 25 that we have here, because that's what it should be. So we have, not counting the corner, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Then we're going to work our corner into our corner. So that's going to be the 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and then we're going to chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets. Alright, so remember how on the last corner I said you got to be careful because you can cover up your first stitch. So if you pull those over, you'll see our first stitch there. On this side, we're actually going to skip this stitch because we want our squares to have the same number of stitches on this side as on this side. And you'll remember on the previous row, they didn't match. We did 15 half double crochets and then 16 half double crochets on this side. So that's why we're skipping this stitch. So you'll skip over it, and then by the time you get to the other corner, you should have 25 double crochets with skipping this stitch. So don't put one in the stitch on this side of the square. And then you'll do your next corner, and you will work this stitch. And so from this corner to this corner, working all of them, you have 25 double crochets. And then when you get to your 4th and final corner, you will skip this stitch and then have 25 double crochets. Okay, just wanted to show you. So that's our, our first side that we did together. And then our second side where I told you to skip the stitch. If you look in here, you can see I did skip that stitch. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. Okay, so now, once you finish that, we'll join to connect your first stitch here. And then, so for round 12, we're actually going to slip stitch into the next stitch. And then slip stitch into the corner space. And then chain 2. And then we're going to start with the corner stitch. And that's the 2 double crochets. My yarn keeps getting caught on my arm. Chain 2. And then 2 double crochets. And now in this round, we're gonna do the corner space, or the corner. You're gonna make a corner in every corner space, and you're gonna work a double crochet in every double crochet. So we are gonna work the first stitch here, so you have to scoot your guys over. And you're gonna work this stitch, and you're gonna work that stitch on every corner. And then so for my practice square, I just decided to do 12 rounds and then did the finishing edge. And so I'll show you guys how to do that. But if you guys are wanting to do, because if you think about how the bag is constructed, it's going to be folded in half like that. That is going to be the bottom of your bag. So compared to my hand, I think that this is a good size for a bag, and then, it's going to be up the side the same amount of space. If you are wanting something bigger, you just repeat round 12. And every round, your square sides are going to increase by 4 stitches. So I hope that makes sense. I'm gonna stop with round 12 and then do the edging, but if you're wanting like a bigger square, you would do the same thing for like round 13. You would just slip stitch over to the corner, make your corner, work a double crochet in every double crochet. Okay, for our final round, I already joined with the slip stitch and then finished this off. We're gonna work over our tail. We're gonna join our brown into the corner. We're gonna work over his tail too. I can see what I'm doing around my phone. And then this time we're gonna chain 1 and we're gonna do this round in single crochet. So it's going to be 2 single crochets, and chain 2, and then 2 more single crochets, all in the corner space. It's getting away on me here. And then 1 single crochet in all the double crochets. And just work over the tails. And then just do the same thing in the next corner. 2 single crochets, chain 2, 2 single crochets, and then all the way around. Okay, scene change because I needed a little bit more room than what my desk could provide. This is this is my coffee table. Eventually, I guarantee it that the cat is gonna jump up here because they are used to being up. I took this away from their window, so. But once you get that final edging done, you just do the same thing all over again. Make a second one, following the same instructions. Just kidding. You're gonna do one in solid black because that's what our moon's gonna go on. Mine are really warped You can block them to kind of get them to lay flat and look straighter. I have never blocked anything in my life, so I am not going to start now. But when you do your solid color ones, you obviously, this funky row where we did these special double crochets, you don't do that. So when you're on that round, it's just 7 double crochets and then an increase. And then you can make 2 of these, or you can do what I did. And your third one, I did stripes because I thought that looked nice. I kind of liked having more of the brown color incorporated into it. But this black one is what we are going to sew our moon onto. So remember, it's gonna go, the bag goes this way, top, and bottom. So that is how you want to orient your moon. And then this is what stitch markers would be helpful for, because you can kind of pin it in place to sew it on. And then we still need to make a star that we'll put right here, and I will show you how to do that in a second. Real quick though. Momo. Hi, kitty. Hello. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna start with a chain of 31. Need to make our slip stitch. Then, got my arm laying on my yarn. Alright, so 31, and then so in the second chain from the hook, so that's the first chain right here, this is the second chain. In the second chain, we're in a single crochet, and we're going to do another single crochet, then a half double crochet, go through all 3 loops, one more half double crochet, and then we're going to do 2 double crochets in the same one. And basically what we're doing, that's too many loops, is we're going to do 4 stitches and then do an increase, and then 4 stitches, an increase, and so on to the end of the row. And that's going to help us get that nice, like, C curve going on. So 2 double crochet in the same. And then I'm going to do 4 double crochet. Oops. 3. And 4. And then the way I have the pattern written, we're going to repeat that
3 more times.
So now we're going to do this a little differently. We're going to do, yes, we're going to do our increase, which is going to be 2 double crochet in the same stitch. But now that we're back at the end, we are going to do, instead of 4 double crochet, we're going to do 2. 1, 2, and then we're going to do 2 half double crochets, 2, and then in the last one, 2 single crochets. Don't pick up a yarn. We got 1, 2, and if you open that up a little bit too much, you can just hold the knot, give it a little tug, and tighten it right back up. It's kind of got the curve a little bit, but what's going to help is when we put more increases in, it's going to round it up here, making this look more curved. So we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And so we're going to do a single crochet, 2 single crochets, my bad. And then in this stitch, the next one, we're going to do 2 half double crochets. So that's 1. And 2. And then we're going to do 5 double crochets. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My bad. Okay. So you do... Yeah, that's the thing. If you want to get into crochet, you gotta be really comfortable with the fact that you apparently don't know how to count. So we do 5. I'm not gonna undo that because we do need that there. But after your 5 double crochets, you're going to do the increase, which is the 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. I'll just put that second one in there because we already made 1. And then you repeat that 3 times. So now we're going to do 5 double crochets. Yarn's getting all tangled on itself. I have 3, 4, and 5. And now for this increase, I don't think I have enough stitches, but I don't think I counted right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah, I did. Just trust the pattern, Sabrina. Trust the pattern. Okay. Now, for this increase, instead of 2 double crochets, it's going to be a double crochet and a half double crochet in the same stitch. Yeah, and then a half double crochet, and then finish it off with 2 single crochets. chain 1 and turn. We're going to do 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Don't split your yarn. 1, 2, 2 half double crochets, 1, 2, 4 double crochets, what did I say, 4? Oops. It's 4. And then 2 double crochets in the same stitch. Alright. And then we're going to start a little section that you repeat. So it's going to be 6 double crochets and then 2 double crochets in the same stitch. And after doing the first one, you're going to repeat 3 times. Sure that was actually 6. All right, and then 3 more times. I'm gonna do 2 double crochets. Two half double crochets, and then two single crochets, just kidding, that was a slip stitch. We don't want to do that. Okay, now we are going to work along here so that we can slip stitch along the inside curve so that we can make, oops, get you guys in frame here. We're gonna come around this edge, slip stitch around here so that when we get to the middle, we can make his nose and then slip stitch just to even it all out. So what I'm gonna do here to turn nicely, I think I did on the other one. You know what, I'm fine with how the other one looks. We're gonna put another single crochet in the same stitch, and that kind of helps us turn around this edge. And then right here, how well you can see, but in this row, just stick your hook in and slip stitch. And then now you should be able to get into that first chain of the foundation row and slip stitch under there. And then before going on to you know what? That's fine. Let me just go right into the next one. So if you remember, we did 31 chains for our foundation. So we should do about 15 slip stitches, and that should put us in the middle. You can kind of just eyeball it too, but okay, so now if we look, I think I did 15 of them. I think I'll go one more and then make the nose. Alright, so to do that, I'm going to chain one, and then into the next space, a single crochet. Keep trying to pick up a yarn over, even though it's a single crochet, because I've done so many of the doubles. Alright, there's our single, and then to finish off, I'm just going to slip stitch to the end. When you lay him flat here, he should have a little bump here for his nose. It's not very tall, but I think it might just be because of how thin this yarn is. And then you know what, I didn't do this on my tester one, but I'm gonna slip stitch up to this top one here to kind of round out this point. You see how this one is rounder? I think that just looks a little bit nicer. So I go here, slip stitch, and then right here, slip stitch, and then right on the top of the stitch, and there we go, there's our Crescent Moon. So then what I like to do is we're going to want to leave a tail long enough to sew this onto our granny square that we've made. And how I kind of decide to make sure there's enough is I pull a big loop, and the size of the loop doesn't have to be exact, but big loop, and then I take this and I kind of wrap it around the shape of whatever it is I need to sew on. You know, kind of, it doesn't have to be exact, but just kind of like loosey-goosey, so that you have the outside of your shape in length, and then I add about like a hand's length more. So I'm gonna go here, and then this is where I'm gonna cut. So for our star, I'm gonna start with a magic ring, magic circle, whatever you call it. I'm off camera, my bad. Okay. I don't like working over this when it's twisted. Alright, so that counts as our chain 1, chain 2, and then we're going to do 10 double crochets into the circle. And then we're going to slip stitch to join. Come on. Right. Slip stitch to join. And then we're going to chain 4. 2, 3, 4. And then in the second chain from the hook, that's the first one, the second one, we're going to slip stitch. You're trying to single crochet. It's a slip stitch. The next one is a single crochet. And then a half double crochet. And then we're going to slip back into our first round, but one stitch over. So this is the stitch we came up out of. This stitch right here, that's the slip, our slip stitch to join into the first one. So we're going to slip down into the second stitch. And then there's our first little point. And then we're going to slip stitch into the third stitch. And repeat the point. So chain 4. Slip stitch into the second chain from the hook. Split your yarn. Okay. And then a single crochet. And then, sorry if the camera keeps going in and out of focus. So, double crochet. I'm not used to crocheting so far away from my face. Alright. And then after your half double crochet, we're going to slip down. This is the stitch we came out of. So we slip down into the next stitch. This one right here. And now we have 2 points. And then just, you do that 3 more times. So because we did 10 double crochets in our magic circle, each point is going to take up 2 stitches. So there's our 3rd point, our 4th point, and our last point. And you don't count that because that was our slip stitch to join. Okay, so the same thing for as what we did with the Crescent Moon. Once you finish, before you finish off, you want to have your tail be long enough for sewing it onto your square. So there's your star. So then sew him and the moon onto your plain black square. The square goes on a diagonal, so you're gonna have a point at the top and a point at the bottom, points on the sides, and that's how you're going to line these up to sew. Okay, so now that we have our squares finished, these guys are sewn on. The construction of the bag, so because on the Ouija board the sun is on this side, the moon's on this side, that's just how I'm doing it. As far as which way you want your moon facing, I mean, you could, it doesn't matter, but if you fold your squares in half like this and like this, I hope you can see what I'm doing, my phone's way up above my head right now, and then those are your sides of the bag. And then your stripe one, or if you make it plain, or however you want to make this one with the colors, this is going to be the bottom. And then it's going to get sewn together like this. And so what that means when you open, so as far as like sewing it together, if you were to open these squares up, this is how they get sewn together. So you're going to go along this edge, and then these 2 edges together, and then these 2 edges together. And the way that I want to connect them, because I think it's easier, I had already woven all the tails, I'm going to slip stitch the squares together. So to do that, I'm going to take, because these are the wrong sides, these are the right sides facing. Because they're all the same number of stitches around the sides, you're going to be able to just line them up and go through the stitches that way. I think it makes it easier to hold if you have stitch markers. And even if you don't have stitch markers like these, if you have like safety pins, metal ones, you know, instead of these little goofy plastic ones. Okay, so I got the corners pinned together because that's going to make this a little bit easier. And when we do this, we're going to do it through the back loops only. And remember how in the corners we have those 2 single crochets, and then it's a little hard to see with my stitch marker here, but we have two chain stitches and then the single crochets again. And you want to make sure that when you're doing this along, you're picking up the one chain stitch from the corner, because the other chain stitch goes for the other side. So we're going through back loops only, the back loop on that one, and then this stitch right here is the chain, the back loop on that guy, because this is where we're going to join our color. And we are going to slip stitch all the stitches together. You know what? I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, back loop only, and then back loop only of that stitch. And just tuck that away. We'll weave that in later. And then once you get away from the corner, it should be a little bit easier to work these back loops. So when you sew them together this way, oop, nope, not single crochet, slip stitch. When you look at it from the right side, that's what the seam's gonna look like. Getting to the corner here, I'm gonna take my pin out, and then I've got 2 stitches left to work. Okay, so now we're doing the 2 chains in the corner, and a little hard to see in here. So this, obviously we're looking at the wrong side of this square, but the right side of this square. So it's easier to see on this one where the 2 chain stitches are. Oop. Right here and right here. And sometimes looking from the back on the wrong side, it's a little hard to tell. So if you need to kind of flip it, and then we can see, so this is, oh, this stitch got, okay. Let me, so this little goofed up stitch right here is actually one of our chain stitches. And then that's the other one. And then these are our 2 single crochets. So this one's gonna be, because this one got stretched out because I just worked into it, that's why this one looks a little bit goofy, because it doesn't have that extra, like it doesn't have the legs like a single crochet here to kind of help hold its shape. But now that I know that that weird one is one of my chain stitches, sometimes it helps looking at it from the front when you try to go under your back loop here. I just wiggle it in there. And then back loop on your other chain. And then if we look again, this is our chain stitch right here. So we're going under that back loop. Or we're trying to. There we go. And then your chain on this side. Alright. And then now when you work this side, it should be easier again. It's just, sometimes those corners get a little complicated, but we got them. Now you just gotta match up the single crochets to single crochets. When I hold it closer to me without my phone in the way, you can line it up like this and be able to go right through both of them at the same time, both back loops. So work along here, get to this corner, only work one of the chains in this corner. Okay, so I worked to the next corner and I only worked one of the chain stitches. So now we have to match it up with our moon and star panel. Remember, the stripey is the bottom side of the bag. So this is right side up, so it matches. And since this is the bottom of the bag, we're just gonna flip it over like this. So the one chain that we have left in this corner is gonna match up with one chain from this corner. And then we're gonna work around this edge and work around this edge. Yay, we have a bag now. Look at how nice that seam looks. Looks so good. I really like that. I feel bad that there's not enough room on my desk right now. But now for the handles, it doesn't matter which one you start with, just pick a side. Okay, so we are gonna work into the corner space of this round. So this space right here. I had a tail, here's my tail. And we're going to join the brown color. And we are going to pull up a loop tall enough so that it goes over the edging. And you can pull your tail up here so we can work over it. And then do your chain one to join. I don't want to pull that too tight. And then we are going to do a single crochet. Make sure you're pulling it on that side of the corner for now. And then, again, pull it up so that it's your hook's on top of the edge row. There's our first single crochet. And we're going to do a second one. Pull it up so that it's at the top. And then do two chains. I'm not trying to be off camera. Two chain stitches. Not like super loose, but not super tight either. And then two more single crochets into that space. So make sure that your loop is brought up tall enough. So now we should have 6 stitches here, and it should kind of be curved around the corner. When we start making our handle though, it'll straighten itself out. And then we're gonna do it double crochets. However, instead of doing the normal chain 2 to get up to height, we're only going to chain 1 because that's going to give us like a nicer, straighter edge. So chain 1 and turn. And then just double crochet across. And then for the chain 2s, what I did in my test one is I just worked around them. But you're gonna do 2 double crochets in there. And then same thing, chain 1 and turn. So, and then just make sure, because we're only doing chain 1 on these first stitches, see how that one kind of like is almost hiding? Don't forget to work it. We want to make sure that we have 6 stitches across, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then just keep working that until your handle is like half of the desired length that you wanted. So I ended up doing 19 rows for my half handle, and that gives me about 8 inches, give or take. That's one half of the handle. And then I'm gonna do the exact same thing, but on the other side of the bag now, but don't finish it off. I just finished row 19 of the second strap, so now we have 2 straps that are about the same size here, and we're just going to slip stitch them together. You want to make sure when you're doing this that you finish on a row, so this is, you can kind of see here, the outside of the bag. You're going to be looking at the outside of the bag when you finish the row, because when you work back around, you're on the inside, and it's on the inside that you want your seam for your slip stitches. Right, so straight, straight, because we're gonna be working, you know, from this side of it, we're just gonna take this and we're just gonna flip it over like that. So we know we have the right sides the correct sides are matched to each other, so that if we seam this together, our handle is gonna be straight. So let me just grab my hook here. And we're just going to do it like we did for the squares. We're going to go through back loop only. So let me pick up my first one here. So it's not going to take very long. We only have 6 stitches here. Realize I'm working off camera, aren't I? Oh god, last one, and then we are done. There we go, and then I am going to pull through one more before finishing it off. Just see that? I actually had my scissors next to me in handy reach. And then when you turn this, look at that, it's the right way. I have a cute little seam right on top. It doesn't look, I don't think it looks bad. I like that seam. Ta-da, we have a bag! We did it! Oh, hi, Pookie. Oh. Look at it! And the handle, I weaved the ends in, so I still think that seam looks super nice. Look! It's done! Hell yeah! What can we put in our bag? Put a freaking pumpkin. Tarot cards. What else I got laying around over here? Pug? Lion? Oh god. It's perfect. I love it. I think it turned out really well. I mean, I guess the one thing I don't really like is that the moon kind of looks more like a banana than a moon. You can't really see the star when you're holding it unless you wear it like this way. I think you can see the star, but oh man. It is kind of like, I guess, a more like shallow bag. You're not gonna be putting a lot in here, but I mean, if you wanted to fix that, you could make like triangles and sew them in here just so you have a little bit more bag space. Or you can make bigger squares and obviously make like a longer bag than two, but oh, I'm so happy with how it turned out. I know in my sketches, I kind of had like, you know, I put the faces on the sun and the moon, and I put like goodbye across the strap. I don't know if I'm really gonna do that. I kind of just like it the way it is. I think it turned out really well. I'm really happy with it. It's cute. It's definitely hits the vibe that I was going for. I think almost it'd be a lot of fun too if you were to do like the sun in like yellow or gold and then do blue. You know, if you were around for the 90s, you know what I'm talking about, like that color combo. I think that'd make a really nice looking bag too. Oh, I'm so happy with this. I love it.